What up, guys? Hey, have you guys ever been in an interview where they ask you, describe a difficult situation and how did you handle it? Don't know how to answer this question? I got you, fam. Shit, watch this video then. I'm answering your mother questions today, and today I have Ingrid. On Instagram, she asked me, I'm in the process of preparing for my pharmacy job interviews, and it's frequently come across the question, describe a difficult situation you had to make and how did you handle it? Would you mind sharing some of your advice and tips on how you will go about answering this question? Thanks. By the way, love your YouTube videos. They are very informative. Mother, thank you, Ingrid. This question is very similar to like, what's your biggest weakness and whatnot. So typically, whether you're on a job interview or whether you're on a pharmacy interview, so why are they even asking this? Something that you want to ask yourself on these interview questions, what's the real question that they're trying to ask? And some of the things that come to mind after taking Ramit Sethi's dream job course, you definitely want to ask yourself like, okay, so they're asking you to describe a situation. Everybody knows that hard times come along, whether it's in school, whether it's a job, whether it's personal life, there's always going to be things that are unexpected that are going to happen, right? And they want to know how you come up from it, right? It tells a lot about your character. If you say, oh, there's nothing wrong, automatically they're going to know that you're bullshitting. They'll probably won't accept your ass. When you ask your friends for advice, they'll just be say something like, I work too hard. Think about it. They interview a lot of people, so they're gonna know the mother bullshit from the mother fact. Okay, so now that we have a good question, so they basically want to see our characteristic traits, how we handle when shit goes wrong, right? And so you want to provide a truthful answer that's also well polished. Okay, you can't be like, something wrong that happened to me was like this one time I doo-dooed in my pants. I had to run inside Target, buy some pants. That's not an appropriate ass story, right? So you want to have a really well-polished story that is truthful. One thing I like to focus on is creating stories ahead of time, right? And stories do two things. One, you're actually sort of showing, rather than saying like, yeah, I'm resilient, I'm hardworking, I'm all these things, right? You're actually you're sort of demonstrating or taking them through the steps of how you think. So okay, maybe you have a few stories. So when you're trying to create these stories, a lot of time I like to follow the SOAR format. You describe the situation, objective, action, and result. And I think this is a great way or a great initial guideline to help guide your story, because no one wants to sit there and listen to a 10-minute boring ass story, right? When I was going through my interviews, I wanted it to come off as truthful as possible. One of the things that showed on my transcript was that I was on academic warning. Now, other people will tell you this is suicide, do not bring this up. But for me, I felt like, you know what? They're gonna see my resume anyways. They're gonna see that I fucked up along the way. And so I want to address any concerns that they have and take them through that time, that mindset, right? At the time, so like during my sophomore year of college, I wasn't doing too hot. For some reason, I was spending hours and hours studying, nothing was sticking. Part of the problem was that I was studying really late and I would be so exhausted. And when I went to class, I wasn't 100% there. And when I started failing these exams, I was just beating myself up saying that, hey, you know what? I'll try harder. Still, no matter how hard I tried, I still kept on bombing my exams. And that was a really crappy feeling, right? It eventually got to that point where I got that email, you are on academic warning. Pretty much you're on the way to academic probation and failing out of school, which sucks, you know? So I knew I needed help. So two things. I started talking to my friend Jason, who went to Stanford. He's wicked smart. He's going to the Olympics and stuff like that. Crazy ass dude. He still creates really cool content today. But anyways, I asked him, I'm having trouble with my grades. Like, since you've always been very successful, how do you do it? What resources do you recommend for me? So then he turned me on to this website called Study Hack, and it basically was like a straight up study strategy. It included everything from like always going to class, always reviewing your notes right after class, going to office hours and creating questions for the professor, and to develop a really good relationship with them. Using a question answer note taking to formulate test questions for yourself. I suddenly wasn't spending 10 hours a day studying, which half of it was like kind of bullshit studying. I had a lot of free time and suddenly I could hang out with my friends, I could go exercise. I was a much happier person. It felt great because the next semester I got straight A's and I was on Dean's list. I think that was a valuable lesson, accepting that maybe you're not so great at something and always wanting to improve, right? So that's an example of a story I use. Is it the best story? Probably not. I would probably cut it down a little bit. You can take all the professional parts about that story. So things like adjusting my studying times or making sure I was getting 8 hours of sleep, and really catering that to your story. Every story is going to be a little different. So again, just to review, situation, I wasn't doing too hot in classes and I was spending so much time in school. Obstacle, I was going on academic warning. The action, I set myself a strategy of X, Y, and Z. And the result, I got on Dean's list. Really simplifying your story that way really helps a lot. And having a few of those stories during your interview always helps. And there's something about stories where people are naturally drawn to them. Think about all the stories that you heard. If it's a really good story, how hard is it to just listen to just half of it? It's just like watching half of Star Wars. Like, dude, seriously? But you want to make a really compelling story and take the interviewer on those ups and downs. You might not have enough time for this. I definitely recommend the strategy for you. I use it on all my interviews. I don't get every single interview, but it definitely helps me perform a lot better than I did if I didn't have this strategy. Anyways, guys, if you guys got any more questions, feel free to DM me. You can always email me at subscribers@refugeehustle.com. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so you can see my model videos. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.